In the 1940s, radiocarbon dating allowed scientists to determine the age and wide range of materials, including fossils and, most importantly, cave paintings. They did this by examining the types of carbon atoms they contain. This is crucial because carbon 12 and carbon 13 are stable, while carbon 14 is more unstable. And during the mid-1900s, there was so much carbon 14 leading into the partial signing of the New Testament Treaty that levels in the atmosphere virtually doubled. My favorite forger was Hanban Green. He was able to swindle the Nazis. In case you didn't know, he was some well-known artist before he became a forger. He made fake paintings, and he worked day and night for 6 years perfecting his forging techniques. He even mixed his own paintings to resemble the ones made by those who he was forging art from. And when I mean by mixing, I mean that he was organically making his own paintings that the artists that he was forging. He bought 17th century canvases and created his own brushes and aged the works by applying synthetic resin and baking them to try and crack paint. At the time he did this, making sure art wasn't forged was not widespread as it is today. Following the Allied victory, he was arrested and he could be punished by death. So to save his own life, he explained step by step how to make things. The person who allowed his artwork to be sold also wanted to save his reputation, so he argued that the paintings were not forged in his favor, so he wouldn't have his reputation tarnished. So Henry Green had to make the paintings again, and after the court ruled that it was indeed a fake, he only had to spend 1 year in jail for fraud. His paintings made him a legend, and even his own son forged his paintings. So the tools that finding forgeries use is X-rays, workers working over old art pieces to make their own artwork look older, so it's harder to tell with a microscope. So with an X-ray, it can show the older art piece, which is really cool and allows us to see the true form of some of the paintings. Most famous of being painting with Robert is one of my favorite artists, which is Da Vinci. Some of his artworks in cathedrals and whatnot would be over because they're rude. And infrared reflectography, commonly used to see the oldest layer, which is usually an outline of what the original artist was drawing. They're known as underdrawings. The reason that they use infrared is because the light will penetrate through layers of pigment and show the initial sketch that the artist made. Microscopy, finding inconsistencies in an art via a microscope. Usually this is used for oil paint. And those are the new ones. And staining electron microscope, SEM, is a type of electron microscope that produces images of an example by staining the surface with the focus beam of electrons. The electrons interact with atoms in the sample, producing various signals that contain information about the surface, topography, and composition of the sample. When it came to making artwork for this project, I struggled a bit because I was worried that the artwork would not be very impressive to you guys. Not only that, but I think that some people think that digital artwork is easy and does not take a lot of time to make. So it made me feel uncomfortable to really make this and show my full art process. I know that I've shown it before on my YouTube channel, and I know for a fact you guys have seen me talk about drawing or at least making art digitally before. I just kind of get uncomfortable because I'm going to use this project to show art evidence or artwork evidence. I wasn't able to get the picture for this because I accidentally did not save the file for this image that's being drawn right up above. I had a lot of fun making the artworks that were based off of like how Frederick kind of work. Essentially, art forgery is kind of like tracing somebody's artwork and saying that it's yours. And it's a problem with art. There's a problem with art theft, especially in the art community. And like I said before, forgery is just another form of theft in a way. But I feel like it's kind of interesting because forgery means that you're drawing heavy inspiration from an artist and or trying to stamp based on that famous person's artwork. And you can also get famous for doing said artwork or forgeries, which is kind of questionable. I mean, it's a legal gray area, and it doesn't get talked about a lot that much because I don't know, some people just don't know about it. But the thing about art forgeries is that without the nukes and whatnot, you wouldn't really know if something was an art forge, was, you know, an art forgery for a while, especially if old artists' work, like Leonardo da Vinci's, because it would have basically the same carbon dating. It wouldn't have a different carbon atom like carbon 14. And because of that, I think it's highly interesting to look into. Even though there's not a lot of information about it, there are people who make a lot of money off of art forgery. Like, way too much, like over $1 million off of forging art. And it's extremely cool, and I can see that it's lucrative for starving artists to do it. I think it's a legal gray area, and it needs to be discussed more, because it's just something that I don't know, I just like art. That's the best that I can say about it. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and hit the notification bell for more uploads.